Meanwhile, a special meeting was convened in Colombo today by the Judges Association over the attack carried out on the Secretary of the Judicial Services Commission, Manjula Tilakaratne, and the situation that has arisen following the attack. Members of the association consist of district court judges and magistrates.
The special meeting convened by the Judicial Service Association took place at the Colombo District Court complex. District Court judges and magistrates from all parts of the island had applied for leave and travelled to Colombo to participate at today's meeting. A communique issued by the Judicial Service Association subsequent to the meeting stated that a number of proposals with regard to steps that should be taken to safeguard the independence of the judiciary, the rule of law and condemning the attack on the General Secretary of the Judicial Service Commission were approved unanimously. The Judicial Service Association had also decided to take immediate steps with regard to the decisions. The communique issued by the Judicial Service Association noted that taking into consideration the inconvenience caused to the public, they have decided to resume court proceedings from tomorrow. According to our reporters, activities at the Colombo District Court and Magistrates Court came to a standstill owing to this meeting. A majority of the lawyers at the Colombo High Court did not participate in court proceedings today. Our correspondent noted that owing to this, many of the cases that were to be taken up today were postponed. However, the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal functioned as usual. Meanwhile, a group of lawyers engaged in a demonstration today as well against the attack carried out on the Secretary of the Judicial Service Commission. The protest march, which began from the Colombo Magistrates Court, made its way towards the Premadasa statue and returned to its starting point. The IGP should make sure that the thugs who attacked Manjula Tilakaratne are arrested and produced before court. In addition, the security provided to Manjula Tilakaratne should be increased. As chairman, I request that this situation be resolved.
සභාපතිවරයා හැටියට මගේ ඉල්ලීම. නැවත වරක් අපි 83 88 විච්ච ඒ භීෂණ යුගයට යන්න.
Once again, this country might experience the dark era that we witnessed in 83 and 88. The power in this regard is with the president. We hope and believe that he will look into this and that the perpetrators will be produced before the courts.
මේ විත්තිකරුවන් අධිකරණයට ඉදිරිපත් කරයි කියලා අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා.
Meanwhile, the Judicial Service Trade Union Alliance organized a protest march urging the immediate arrest of the suspects.
අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ අපේ ප්‍රධානියා ඒ වගේම අපේ දෙපාර්තමේන්තු ප්‍රධානියා අපේ පත්වීම් බලධාරියා අපේ විනය බලධාරියා අධිකරණ සේවා.
The attack on the General Secretary of the Judicial Service Commission, who is also a head, is not an attack on one person but the entire judicial system. It's an attack on the independence of the judicial system. Our alliance requests that those thugs be immediately arrested and revealed to the country.
ඉක්මනින්ම මේ මැරෙන් අත්අඩංගුවට අරගෙන නීතිය ඉදිරියට ගෙනල්ලා රටට හෙළි කරන්න කියලා.
Although court proceedings continued as usual in outstation areas, many lawyers engaged in protests. A protest march organized by the Horana Lawyers Association began from the Horana Court complex. The protest march made its way towards the Horana town.
The place any ordinary citizen would seek justice from is the courts. If threats are levelled on the judiciary and if judicial officers are attacked, we see this as a collapse of the rule of law.
The Galle District Lawyers Association engaged in a peaceful demonstration opposite the court complex today. The lawyers then marched towards the Galle bus stand and engaged in a protest.
We are
not prepared to accept this as just some incident. The lawyers in the Galle district consider this as an attack on the independence of the judiciary.
Minister Vimal Veeravansa claims that the attack on the Secretary of the Judicial Services Commission is an attempt to create a conflict between the judiciary, legislature and the executive.
I wish to ask you if this government is stupid enough to attack the Secretary to the Judicial Service Commission. If you look at this incident closely, it will become clear to you that there is a force in this country that is attempting to create a conflict between the judiciary, the executive and the legislature. Look at some of the newspapers on Friday. The Sunday papers were coming out on Friday. One of the newspapers on Friday said that he was about to be assaulted. It said, "Coming soon, this is the movie. The director of the assault on the secretary of the JSC must be caught. The fight director must also be caught. Who wrote the screenplay? We need to find out which embassy it was."
Coming soon,
The minister made these comments at an event held to provide housing loans to 476 state employees in the Colombo district.
We have seen luxury styles and extravagant lifestyles of some of these politicians who have suddenly become very vocal and introducing theories. And the theory of conspiracy has been always used to divert attention from the public of a real issue. We have seen hundreds of white van abductions, attacks on media institutions, and attacks on very important individuals. Now, all these instances, the government and these bankrupt politicians are saying that it is a conspiracy hatched by some international community. But what we see is that those who are accusing others of conspiracy are the people who are really conspiring to suppress the truth. They are having a heyday with impunity. They don't want to investigate into any of these crimes. It is easy for a politician to say that it is a drama staged and directed by a set of foreigners and others, but they themselves know very well that they are the people who have hatched the conspiracies, and these individuals have been used by the politicians and those who are responsible for these crimes to divert attention of the public.
In the meantime, UNP parliamentarian Mangala Samaravira says that the country's independent judiciary is the only obstacle in the dream to achieve a dictatorship. He expressed this view at a media briefing today.
If it is an international conspiracy, then instead of chanting slogans, hold an impartial investigation and prove it. They cannot always get away by beating the international conspiracy drum. In the Cold War being waged against the judiciary by the government, the Secretary of the Judicial Service Commission, Manjula Tilakaratne, bravely and fearlessly stood for the independence and rights of the judiciary. Today, at a time when all the independent institutions are being ruled by the government, the judiciary was the only obstacle for them. I think the attack on Manjula Tilakaratne was much more than a personal attack on him. We must all understand that this was a grave attack on the independence of the judiciary and democracy in the country. We advise the police to act according to their conscience.
Meanwhile, senior lawyer Gominda Asiri expressed his views on the attack on the Judicial Service Commission Secretary.
Assaulting any person is a serious matter, but when it comes to a judicial officer, it's still more serious because there's a duty cast upon society to protect them. Looking at recent events, undoubtedly a finger will be pointed at the government, and the only way that the government can overcome the present accusations would be, since police powers are with the government and they have the right to investigate and make inquiry, there should be a quick, transparent, honest, secure investigation into this to find who the real culprits are. This cannot be one of those crimes that remain unsolved where the accused is unknown. If it comes to that, then the government will have to answer it.
Time now for the newspaper cartoon of the day.
The Guru Pratibha Award ceremony in view of World Teachers' Day 2012 was held at the Mipe National Education Institute this morning under the auspices of President Mahinda Rajapaksa. 9 principals from selected schools across the island were presented with service awards at the ceremony.
This event was held to recognize teachers and principals who work towards creating a more fruitful learning experience by creating an active classroom, which in turn creates students who can win future challenges. The UNESCO-sponsored South Asian Teacher Development Centre, constructed at the Mipe National Education Institute in Padukka, was declared open by President Mahinda Rajapaksa this morning. The President also declared open the Information and Communication Technology Laboratory, constructed at the National Education Institute at a cost of 25 million rupees.
The South Asian Centre for Teacher.
Meanwhile, President Mahinda Rajapaksa inspected the Padukka public supermarket complex this morning. The President also participated in an almsgiving in view of the first death anniversary of the late Bharatha Lakshman Premachandra at Premachandra's residence today.